So I came across Bree on Instagram, had a bit of a look. I think you tagged me in a thing.
I did,
Yeah, thanks for that.
Someone asked me my recommendations because I said the way I learned about a lot of money was podcasts. And one of the suggestions was this podcast.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, someone's tagged me. Sweet, have a look. Oh, Bree on a budget. Bree's in Newcastle.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, you want to come down and have a chat? And here we are. So we kind of scratched that surface on, mindset and money. Was there a tipping point where you knew something had to change?
Yeah. When I had to rely on like buy now, pay later things just to afford basic items like groceries. And then I noticed I was starting to be embarrassed and I was starting to hide it from, he was my boyfriend at the time, my now husband. And that was like, no, this is exactly what I didn't want to do, and I'm starting to get to that point. And so I went to him and I said, I need help. Like, I need to get out of this. And he just said, great, let's do it. And then, so I started I think the best thing I did at the time, I read the book. What's the book called again? Everyone read it at the time.
Oh, The Shoeless
Investor.
No,
Barefoot Investor. Yeah, Shoeless.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, and that was really good. I think one of the things said to print out all your statements and start highlighting and get your head out of the sand, and we need to start looking at where is your money going.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for me. I got 2 different highlighters. One highlighter was things I had to spend money on, and another highlighter is money I could probably avoid spending money on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And actually in Victoria Devine's recent book as well, she said that as well. So I was like, great. Clearly it works.
Yeah.
Other people are using this strategy.
Yeah.
So that was a massive eye-opener, seeing a lot of the wrong colour highlighter more than the other, and I started to realise I need to cut back on all this stuff. And
so if people want to do that, would you say it could be just as simple as needs versus wants?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you've got like your rent or your mortgage, that's obviously a need with your, petrol and groceries and all those stuff, that's a need. And then your wants are more your subscription services, like you've got your Netflix and Spotify and all that, as well as like drinks and dinner out and your gym and all those things. I've just done
a huge subscription, Cole, myself.
Oh, yeah. They add up.
It just creeps in.
It's sometimes even for me, I'm really good with my money and I track everything I spend, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I thought I cancelled this subscription. It's still coming out. So always go through it. Yeah.
And so you've got your Instagram account, Bree on a Budget, BREEONA, budget.
Yeah.
When did you start kind of documenting your, I don't want to say frugality because it's almost a dirty word, but your lifestyle choices around money?
In the new year.
Just the start of this year?
Yeah, just the start of this year in January, even towards the end of January. Yeah. There wasn't like a moment that was like, I'm going to start. I don't even know what happened, or I can't remember why. I just decided I would follow a few other creators that were sharing like what they spent that month, and I loved it. So I was like, I'm going to try this. Yeah. And so I started sharing everything. I think my first post like in this sort of category was everything I spent in January.
Perfect.
And it went off. Great. Yeah. I'm like, clearly people want to see. Like, we're all like,
I should try
curious
that
in other people's lives. Do it.
I
want to see what you spend.
So it's exceptional because for all the content creators out there, who would have thought creating specific content for a platform would have a good success? Wild, right?
Yeah.
Like you've pretty much got the same amount of followers that I have on Instagram in 6 months. Yeah. That's crazy growth.
It's crazy.
I can't grow my Instagram. Do you know why?
Because you don't share what you're spending.
Well, I don't do that. But I don't do specific content. Well,
You're not niche down, like they say.
No, but like when all the trade tariff stuffs and I had this weatherman screen and I was literally doing specific content for the platform, followers were coming in.
Yeah.
But life gets in the way. So sidebar, who would have thought doing dedicated content for the platform, talking about things that people want to listen to would grow your audience?
I just think we're all nosy. We all want to know what everyone's spending their money on. So I think that's really why it blew up. But yeah.
Awesome. And so what is your day job?
I'm a nurse, a registered nurse, which I've been doing for 4 years now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just an average person spending money, investing money, and I just know if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think that's why I wanted to share what I do, because I know anyone else can do this.
What's your husband do for work?
He's a diesel mechanic, but he's also studying environmental science, which he's nearly finished.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And your living situation, are you guys renting or do you own a property?
We own.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky. We bought in the midst of COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
We actually didn't have any goals to buy until we both finished uni. So
Right.
we still wouldn't have bought now if that was our original goal. But we saved up a chunk of money to go to Europe. And then obviously that got cancelled with COVID. So we thought, what else could we do with this money? Let's just buy. Why not?
Yeah.
Very lucky because, you know, if our house sold today, we wouldn't be able to afford to buy it. That's crazy.
It's wild, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of, you know, your everyday spending and budgeting and all that, how do you guys manage money as a household? I'm going to draw your banking diagram.
Oh, so we've got all our money goes into one together. So we see our money as our money all in one. And then most of that money then goes and sits in an offset.
Yep.
So that way I can try and offset a little bit of the interest, which doesn't really help that much.
Yep.
And then from there, I've got dedicated where it goes to our investment fund.
Yep.
And then where else do we go from there? Oh, and then, sorry, I spend everything on our credit cards.
Okay, so
now I'm good with credit cards.
Okay.
I learnt the lesson and now I'm good. 10 years later, I waited.
So the credit cards, you and your husband both have one?
Yes.
And is it the same account or two different? Is it the same account with two cards or two different cards?
We have a credit card each, but we spend on both depending on. So we like to get Qantas points.
Right.
So whatever points, whatever one needs to meet the minimum spend first, we spend on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's two cards for each card.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we both spend on them and I'm tracking like the minimum spend, and then as soon as that one's done, I go on to the next one.
Oh, so you get different credit cards?
Yes.
How's
Not
that
something
going?
I want to endorse, but if I'm good with money and I know it's something I can do.
They all say that.
Yes,
but anyway, all good. So, so you've got for everyday spending on the credit cards.
Everything goes on those because that way I can at least get points for something I'm going to spend.
Yep.
And then from the
Do
offset.
you ever worry about overspending?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then, and then on the offset account?
Yep, that's what I pay my credit cards with.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this account that you get paid into, wouldn't you just pay to the offset account?
I do, but I like to have some money sitting there just so I can track the money coming in there.
Yep.
And then I've also got some bills that that credit cards won't be able to pay for, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like some companies won't accept Amex for the bills. So I've got that for my just in case.
Yeah. And the investment account, is that a bank account or like a share trading app or something?
I go through Beta Shares.
Yeah, okay.
That's my favourite, yeah.
And then, so is that investment account in joint names? Is it yours?
Joint name, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And are you putting money into there weekly?
Weekly, yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
What do you invest in?
DHHF.
Yep.
That's my favourite.
Yep.
I recently was with VDHG and I swapped over.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you swap over?
Bit of higher growth. We got time under our belt, so I thought, why not just go into something that's a little bit more risky?
Yeah, sweet.
And then, I've loved it so far. It's really good. I managed to get in before the April drop.
Yeah.
Bought a little bit more of a chunk in that.
Awesome.
Little stock sale, and then, it's been good.
Love it. Do you have any, I don't know why we're here, but it's fun
It's fun. I'm enjoying seeing my little graph there to see where the money goes.
Do you have any other bank accounts?
No, but let me explain how I do my offset. So in the way I track my money, I can see how much money my offset is set to each category. So say I've got my offset, but I know, say, this amount of money in there is for travel.
How do you track that?
On my tracking spreadsheet that I use.
Right. Did you make that yourself?
No. So I bought it through CoPlenty.
Yep.
And then actually have an affiliate with them, which is really good now too. So I share it with my followers.
Who's CoPlenty?
She's created CoPlenty. She created her own spreadsheets and she sells them.
Oh, cool. She Aussie?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
In Sydney.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you just, so is there any reason, like who do you bank with?
My home loan's through Newcastle Perm.
Right, okay. Do they not do multiple offsets?
No.
Yeah.
Not with my one. It just really sucks.
Everyone in
so
Newcastle uses Newcastle Perm. It's hilarious.
Well, they had the lowest rate recently, But I love that I can see, like, because my husband, he finds it a little bit confusing. He's like, so we have this much money. I'm like, no, we don't. Because that's our emergency fund and this is our travel fund. This is our everyday. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So you just, so your offsets all your money and then you've got the spreadsheet that you track the amounts.
Yeah,
cool,
which is the easiest way. Yeah.
Yeah. And what like, do you guys have a financial goal at the moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got a couple. I want to keep investing. I want to start increasing our investment amounts as I'm starting to make a little bit of money off social media.
Yeah.
Everything I make, half goes into travel, half goes into investments.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to build up our travel fund because I want to go to Europe for like 3 to 4 months in 2027. So trying to save up.
How much do you reckon you need for that? 60?
I'm thinking around 60 grand. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking I'm just going to book for next year because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And you the way I usually travel is I'll just vibe it out, and you can't. You actually have to plan.
And we've always been last minute travelers. Like we went to Europe over Christmas. Like we booked it like 5 weeks before we went, which was crazy.
Yeah.
But we were only going for 2 weeks, so that was fine. That could be on a whim. But then like we went to Japan one time as well, and that was because Jetstar had sales, so we just went last minute. Whereas this one, we're planning because we want to go for 3 to 4 months, and we're still going to have to pay our mortgage back at home and stuff while we're away.
Yeah. And any other financial goals?
I want to build my emergency fund up just a little bit more, which would be nice. And I want to start putting money into growing Breana Budget, which costs money too in itself.
Yeah. So with your financial goal, I guess, methodology, are you saving for Europe and saving emergency fund concurrently, or do you go, I'm going to hit that first, then move on?
Concurrently. Yeah. Because I'm pretty happy for where my emergency fund's at now. Yeah. So right now I'm focusing on travel, but as I get closer, I might.
I mean, at the end of the day, if there was an emergency and you need more cash, probably got to come from the travel fund anyway.
I can take it if I need it, Otherwise.
So why, I'm just poking.
I know,
why wouldn't you just top up the emergency fund and then you're like,
Because my emergency fund's set up where I think I've got it at 3 months worth of expenses now.
Yeah, cool.
Which
is good.
Which was my goal. But
and you just want a little bit more.
I'd like it to be 6 months.
Right.
The more I look at, eventually maybe working for myself one day, the more I want to grow it, knowing I've got that stability.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No, that's fine. Sweet. What else? Oh, I should run you through my Sound Financial House, see all your foundations. So
is my house going to stay up?
I don't know. So if you're new to the podcast, my Sound Financial House has 4 main foundations.
Yeah.
The first one is to have basically a spending plan and to be out of debt.
Yeah.
So you've effectively got that.
Yeah.
I think the first 2 is spending plan. The next one is to be cashed up and debt free. So you're cashed up because you've got.
If you don't count a mortgage,
Yeah, but the next one is insurances, income protection, and disability insurance. Do you have them?
No.
No? That could be something to consider.
Yeah, it's not really anything I ever look into, which I should.
Yeah.
I shouldn't rely on my super insurances, that's for sure. Yeah.
No. And then the 4th is the will and estate plan.
That's another one.
Yeah.
I did a post recently on this as well. I did a post that did really well. It's like, I think it was 5 signs you're doing well financially.
Right.
It just said the average Australian has less than $1,000 saved and all that. And the last one was a will. And it was a good reflection of myself. I don't even have a will.
Yeah.
And I should. It doesn't. Age doesn't play a factor because if I have any sort of assets, if I die, it's not automatically just going to be easily passed over to my husband. And I know that. I just need to set it up.
Yeah. And I think the thing is as well, it's I think equally, if not more important, and every estate planning lawyer would come at me, it's like getting the power of attorney over each other.
Yeah.
So you just kind of spend $1,500 for the 2 of you and get that sorted.
Yeah.
Who's your super with?
Australian super.
Yeah, cool.
No, sorry.
No?
So I recently changed over. I'm with Host Plus now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you invest in Host Plus?
70%. Can I check?
Yeah, go for it. While you check, we'll take a break and we'll be back right after this.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Alrighty-o, we are back. Now, your super is with Host Plus. Who's your investment option? Or what is?
I've got 70% in international shares and 30% in Australian shares.
Okay. How did you come about that asset allocation?
Just from a bit of reading and research, I learned that split was probably going to work best for me. I'm only 29, so I've got time. And the growth in that split tends to work a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and have you guys thought, like, do you want to buy an investment property ever or
yeah, we
anything
would.
like that?
Waiting till we get a little bit more equity in our house.
Yep.
We have a good amount now, but because we've got HEX debt, the mortgage broker said either pay those off or wait till you got a little bit more equity. I don't know. But
I don't know why the broker would have said that.
yeah. But that was like a year ago.
How much help debt do you guys have?
I've probably got around 12,000.
Yeah, okay.
I think my husband would probably have around maybe
30 or 40 now?
Not even, because we've both worked full-time while we were at uni. So we've been paying it off ever since. His is probably 15, maybe 10.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not a big showstopper if you wanted to buy another property. Yeah. But, I mean, with your other goals, Europe,
travel. That's all that's on our mind at the moment.
And then building your side business.
Yes, yeah.
And building like your YouTube and stuff. That's probably, you know, if you do that right, you'll print money.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Far out, we've covered a lot of ground. And when I like ask questions, it's not the Spanish Inquisition. I'm just like curious. I like kind of getting behind.
That's great. I love it. I love seeing my little house is going to topple over soon if I don't fix my
you get
stuff.
that insurance. And well, actually, before we hit record, I got an email from Sky Wealth, who supports the show, Phil.
Yeah.
And he said one of our listeners who took insurance out with them in 2021 just had a disability claim of 1.6 million.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know who the person was.
Yeah.
Or he just wanted to let me know that, you know.
It was definitely needed.
Yeah. So.
I might have to hit him up.
Yeah. So do you tell people what your mortgage level is?
Sure, yeah.
What is it?
It's at 640.
Yeah, okay. And I mean,
unfortunately.
Yeah. So your house will be worth 900.
Yeah, we actually had someone say the other day 1.1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How big's the block? 600-700 square?
Yeah, it's around 600. Yeah.
The only reason I know because I'm looking around that area.
Yes. Who knew Charlestown would blow up the way it has? Yeah.
And that's I'm like, it must be a bit bigger than what I've been looking at.
The block's big, but the house isn't big, so that shocks me. But we did do renovations.
Right. Awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about I saw one of your reels about your philosophy on cars.
Oh yeah. I love this one.
Yeah.
So I'm very big on buying secondhand and not getting yourself into debt for a car. I've always had secondhand cars. I've actually only had 2 cars and I'm 29, which I think's pretty impressive. I think my husband said by the time he was 29, he'd already had 5 cars. Even though they were secondhand, he just got bored and just got a new one.
Yeah, I was doing a car a year at some point.
It's very common, unfortunately. Or every 5 years when their loan runs out.
Well, I was always doing the cash thing as well. So
yeah.
I could just change.
I'm glad you paid cash. It's good. So you've never had a car loan?
I have. When I used to have a novated lease when I commuted to Sydney, and you know.
Do you think they really save you that much?
On like if you're doing kilometres, it is better off in terms of the tax, and that's why I tell anyone just go to an accountant. Pay $300, get them to crunch the numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
It was actually better off for me to package all that up, but there's just risks like people think, oh, I've got a car allowance at work or whatnot, and you get the lease. It's still all in your name. Yeah. So if you did leave, you're stuck with a car. So, so what are you driving at the moment?
I have a little i20 2011, and I bought that secondhand 7 years ago for $7,000.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm quite lucky that my husband used to be a mechanic, so he does all our servicing for free to me.
And do you guys have a second car?
Yeah, so he has a car as well, second hand 2019 Mazda 3, I think it is.
Yeah.
So,
and you both just bought them with cash?
Yeah, both with cash.
Yeah,
well,
sweet.
we did actually buy a brand new car just before we bought our house for $34,000. It wasn't on finance or anything, but as soon as we bought our house, we realised that's a bad financial move, and we sold it and bought a secondhand one straight away.
Yeah, awesome.
We only had it for a year, which was fun.
Yeah.
But I realised, that's not where I want our money to go.
A brand new what?
Volkswagen Golf.
Oh, cool.
But it was one of those R-Line.
Oh, nice.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And I can see why people like nice cars, but for me, I'd rather my money in other things.
Hey, it's Glenn here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money, Money, Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.